Guys, do we have some exciting news for you? This is some leaks from the CMM, Russian World of Tanks Blitz HQ for information developers. They sometimes get this information sooner than we do, much sooner, and I go through and try to translate and try to figure out what a lot of this stuff means. And from the first picture you had just seen, not only is the Polish heavy tanks going to be coming out, they are going to be implementing some new PBR textures and effects to those following tanks. So you have the T57 Heavy with its legendary camo, the Emil 1951 with its legendary camo, the Viking camo, and the M2 Light. Now, I do wish that they would implement HD or PBR textures for a lot more tanks for every update that comes out. It is really cool to see these tanks with the PBR effects, but with how many tanks there are in the game, there are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. I can't remember exactly how many tanks there are, but it's going to take Wargaming forever to implement PBR graphics for all the tanks. Not to mention they're always coming out with new premium tanks. But the nice thing is even with the new premium tanks they come out with in the game, they do have, for the most case, the PBR textures, the HD graphics. So that's really cool. Now, from going through and translating more of what's going to be entailed in this update, the T57 Heavy is going to go through some modifications. It's going to look just slightly different. Just like what happened to the E100 and the IS-7, there's going to be some physical changes to the tank where they end up saying that it is necessary to completely redo 3D models with improved detail and the corresponding collision models. At the same time, we try to keep all the features of the armor, but it is impossible to translate early tanks completely one-to-one. And this is where they go in and talk about like the IS-7 and the E100. The T57 Heavy model will be slightly different from the old version. Now, I'm just kind of reading the translation here. After the update, the American will become more compact. So it will be interesting to see some of those changes. Some other things that we'll be paying attention for is they talk about how they continue to improve the economy of the game and how the number of battles required for farming credits to buy tanks at the same level in some branches can vary greatly from branch to branch, and to make the pumping speed uniform and predictable. Now, that's just what it's translating. It was a little weird, but I'm guessing they're going to make the cost of certain tanks be a little bit more equal to the different types of branch. It says in Update 8.4, we align the farm indicators for pumping tanks levels 1 through 6. This means that in 8.4, some pump tanks, what they call it, will farm a little more, others a little less, and as a result, the profitability of equipment of each level will become even more. The changes will not affect premium equipment. So yeah, I mean, there's some things in here, I guess you can kind of take it for what that necessarily means. There will also be some new consumables that the Polish heavies will have in update 8.4 as well. They are going to have a Polish food. I can't quite pronounce the name of it, but there's going to be some type of special food for the Polish tanks and adding a percentage to the skill of the crew. So starting from level 7 or tier 7, the strands will receive new equipment. I guess they're tungsten cores is what it translates to, or tungsten shells from what I understand. And as this changes the standard spread of alpha, so the alpha damage, or like the average damage, from 75% to 125%, and increases that to 105% to 120%. So basically what that means is that when you end up shooting an enemy, it ranges, it varies. You don't get a consistent amount of damage every time you shoot an enemy tank. Sometimes you can max roll. And even though your tank's average damage is 400, you can max roll and get 500 damage off an enemy. And you'll sometimes see that. It depends on what the tank's cannon is capable of. But basically that's what it means. So when using this consumable, it'll increase your chances of having a higher max roll, but you won't achieve max roll status because it's only moving you in between the range of 105 to 120% instead of being able to have that chance of getting 125%. There will also be the consumable of improved gunpowder, which supposedly adds 35% to the shell's velocity, which is actually quite interesting. And there's also going to be some improved transmission oil, which adds 3% and 6% to engine power, as well as a +2 and +4 kilometers an hour to maximum forward and backward speed. So here's some of the screenshots I took from what I was translating from what was in Russian off the CMM post. Hopefully this was interesting. I'm really excited for this update. Love what they're doing. This is the Muffin here. You guys stay cool and keep tanking.